The music room fell silent the moment she walked in. Her shoes were worn, her uniform slightly faded, but her eyes carried something rare, a quiet fire that refused to be put out. Every student turned to look as she clutched her old guitar, the one she had repaired with tape more times than she could count. The grand piano in the corner gleamed under the stage lights, but she had no piano, no luxury, no backup singers. Just her trembling hands and a heart that wouldn't give up. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the beauty of never giving up, please take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your support helps us spread stories that remind the world that compassion still exists. Her name was Lena, the maid's daughter. Her mother worked for one of the wealthiest families in the city, the Winthrops. Every morning, while her mother cleaned their marble floors, Lena listened from outside the music hall where the elite students practiced. She loved music, but music didn't love her back, at least that's what the world told her. She couldn't afford classes, instruments, or even proper sheet music. Yet she memorized every melody she overheard, every Mozart sonata, every Beethoven line. Then came the day of the annual scholarship audition at Ridgewood Academy. A single performance could change someone's life. The winner would get a full scholarship and a chance to perform in Vienna. For most, it was just another competition. For Lena, it was her only door out of poverty. But there was a problem: Ethan Winthrop, the billionaire's only son. Handsome, confident, and untouchable. He ruled the school with a charming grin and the arrogance that came from never being told no. Music was his toy, not his dream. When he heard Lena had signed up, he laughed. "Sing this Mozart piece and I'll marry you," he joked in front of everyone. The students erupted in laughter. For them, the idea of a maid's daughter winning, let alone impressing Ethan, was ridiculous. Lena smiled faintly, her eyes burning but steady. She didn't reply, but that night she stayed awake practicing until her fingers bled. She didn't have sheet music, so she learned by ear, listening to old recordings from a cracked phone her mother had found in the trash. She hummed the notes to herself while washing dishes, whispered the rhythm while cleaning halls. Even exhaustion couldn't silence her determination. The day of the audition arrived. The auditorium glowed with gold and chandeliers. Students in crisp uniforms tuned their instruments while their parents chatted proudly in the front rows. Lena stood at the back, holding her guitar tightly, her heart pounding so loudly she thought everyone could hear it. She almost turned away, but then she saw her mother, standing by the exit, wearing her cleaning apron, tears already in her eyes. That was all the strength Lena needed. When her name was called, whispers rippled through the room. The daughter of a maid, standing before the finest students of Ridgewood. The judges barely looked up. Ethan leaned back in his seat, smirking. "Let's see the show," he whispered to his friend. Lena stepped up to the microphone. The guitar looked almost too big for her small frame. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and began. The first few notes were soft, almost fragile, like a secret being shared. But then, something happened. The melody grew stronger, fuller. The guitar strings wept and soared under her touch, her voice carrying through the hall like warm light on a winter morning. Every note of Mozart's piece came alive, not in the perfection of technique, but in the depth of emotion. It wasn't just music, it was her story. Every struggle, every humiliation, every sleepless night turned into sound. By the second verse, the laughter had died. The crowd was silent. The judges leaned forward. Ethan's smile faded, his jaw tightening as he watched her pour her heart out. Her voice cracked once, but it only made it more real. By the time she reached the final note, you could hear nothing but breathing. Then, the last chord echoed, and broke the silence like glass. For a long second, no one moved. Then the entire hall erupted in applause. Students stood, teachers wiped their eyes, and even the headmaster rose to his feet. Lena stood frozen, tears streaming down her face, unsure if she was dreaming. Ethan got up slowly and walked toward the stage. His face was pale, his usual arrogance replaced by something else, shame, awe, maybe even admiration. When he reached her, he didn't speak at first. Then he whispered, just loud enough for her to hear, "You were right. Music isn't about money. It's about heart." He smiled weakly. "And for what it's worth, I wasn't joking anymore." The crowd cheered louder, but Lena only bowed and walked off stage straight into her mother's arms. The scholarship was hers. Her life had changed in a single song. In the days that followed, the video of her performance went viral online. People were captivated by the Maid's daughter who sang Mozart and silenced the rich. Offers poured in from music schools around the world. But Lena stayed humble, still helping her mother clean when she could. When reporters asked her what gave her strength, she said, "My mother taught me that walls only exist until you sing through them." Years later, when she stood on the grand stage in Vienna, the same audience that once doubted her now listened in awe. And somewhere in the front row sat Ethan, no longer the arrogant heir, but a man who had learned what real talent looked like. Before we end this story, if this moment touched your heart, if it reminded you that dreams can rise from any place, no matter how small or poor, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Every like helps us bring more true and emotional stories to life. And before you go, tell us in the comments, what's one dream you refuse to give up on, no matter what others said? Lena's story reminds us that destiny doesn't ask where you're born, it listens to how bravely you sing.
Simpatizante de Boca. Ahora, un barra brava de River, boludo, se quiere comer crudo el simpatizante de Boca, ¿me entendés lo que te digo?
Ok.
O sea, al no ser... A ver, los únicos que podés tirar de un bando para el otro son los medios, o los neutros. No podés mandar a un ultra K o un ultralibertario directamente a decir, no, escuchame, ahora sos socialista o ahora sos... Se pegan un corchazo antes, boludo. Tienen los ideales bien puestos y por más que discutan no se le van a cambiar. O por ahí sí, pero ¿me entendés? Es un caso que no tiene propósito y por eso siempre se llena de discusiones que no llegan a ningún lado. Porque la discusión es, ah, Milei hizo tal y el otro dice, ah, no, pero Cristina robó y bueno, y ahí podemos estar 3 años si querés.
¿Con Huasca en la cara?
Sí, te tiran eso, te tiran la de no, pero mirá Dorni. Y bueno,
Mirá Madorni.
claro.